This is The Comms Exchange, a podcast by 3090 Marketing. Each episode, we sit down with colleagues, leaders, and changemakers to share stories and lessons from the field of community and economic development. Together, we explore how communications shapes strategy, builds trust, and drives momentum because every project, every partnership, every breakthrough begins the same way, with a conversation. Hello and welcome to the Comms Exchange. I am Rachel Ledet.
And I'm Christianne Brunini. And we are here very excited with a new guest today to talk about AI in real estate. And this came uniquely to me because working for an affordable housing developer, I saw firsthand how intensive the underwriting and due diligence process is and how much time it takes and just how snowed under a developer can be by just that part of the process. And then after taking a pro forma class and getting deeper into the spreadsheets, I thought, wow, we should have this. Maybe that's my moneymaker. I'm going to figure out how to crack this and do this with AI. Then found our guest, Jay Keller. He has already hit that hard and built a community around it and is here today to tell us how that came to be and how others can use it. So welcome, Jake.
Happy to be here. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, let's start with the first question. And I would love to hear, where did this idea come from?
So we started the AI for CRE Collective by accident, had no real expectations or intentions of taking it to where it is today. In fact, my partner was pitching me on building a software company in the space. I immediately said, not interested whatsoever. I don't know how to do that, really. No engineering background, nor do we really have the bandwidth. So instead, what I proposed was, why don't we bring together folks in the space who are thinking about technology and AI the same way that we are? And let's share ideas. Let's share what's working. And maybe we could learn some stuff that we can incorporate into our businesses. I come from the development side. He's on the brokerage side. And so we put together this community. And I think within the first day, we had 100 people sign up.
Wow.
We were just amazed, in awe, really. And so we realized pretty quickly that this is a huge opportunity. It validated, the idea that AI and technology is really top of mind for a lot of folks in the space. And voila, fast forward to today, we have about 430 people in our community. It's been great. I've communicated with so many different people across the spectrum, founders in the space, brokers who have never closed a deal before but are thinking about this kind of stuff, people looking for jobs in the space. So really all across the board, it's been great, but a really busy last 2 months.
That's amazing. So for anyone listening who isn't sure what CRE is, that is for commercial real estate. And your membership platform is an educational system, but also sort of a forum. Is that correct, Jake? Is it kind of working in both of those avenues?
So I only realized within the last few weeks what the big picture was with all of this. Essentially, we want to be the central hub of where AI and technology meet real estate. We want to build a full ecosystem around all this stuff because the reality is that it's changing by the second. There's new tools that come out every single day. It's very overwhelming, even for someone like myself who is in the weeds on this stuff on a daily basis. I'm constantly overwhelmed. And so we want to build the ecosystem around everything that includes our community platform, which is hosted on a platform called School. We just launched a podcast. We have webinars. We have a structured learning academy. We have prompt libraries. We're going to host events both in person and online. And so we believe in strength in numbers, and that's exactly what this is. But anytime somebody, let's say you're a broker and you want to learn this stuff, we want them to come to us. If you're a founder and you're building a new software in the space and you need to beta test it for people, we want them to come to us. If you need a job in the space, we want them to come to us. So we hope to be gatekeepers in the space. It's a very large industry, real estate, so there's plenty of room for others. not afraid of a little competition either, but we hope to be the central hub. And we have global members at this point. We're in touch with folks in the UK, in the Netherlands, in Ireland, and this thing's growing. It's a moving train at the moment.
I love the story of this kind of happy accident that you're explaining with you and your partner, where you saw a need and had some questions, and you basically just kind of like threw some time at it and then let it sort of grow into something as you were figuring out what you wanted it to be. So I think sometimes just showing up where there's a need is a huge part of the story. And it's interesting that you kind of saw the question mark and then figured out what was needed as it was building, which is really special about what you're doing with the CRE Collective. One of the questions I wanted to ask that just kind of as maybe a tiny part of the technology aspect is the stories that I've seen on LinkedIn and on some of your content about helping people to expedite the process time of maybe underwriting a project or building out a CRM and using some AI tools and technology tools that are getting to the answers quicker and helping people to be successful in that way. Can you maybe give us maybe like a little tidbit of something really surprising that you've seen with AI that's helped one of your community members or your own development team to just kind of give people a flavor of the solutions that you're trying to provide?
Yeah. So, like I said, this stuff is moving very fast. And each week, each day, we learn something new. And we're trying to stay in front of all this. We're trying to help our members stay in front of all this. And again, by having as many people as possible who are thinking about the same thing, sharing these ideas, it allows us, as an industry to stay in front of this. But we've learned use cases in so many different areas. I mean, when you look at real estate, there's prospecting, right, and lead gen. There's underwriting. There's due diligence. There's property and asset management. There's development. There's legal. There's so many different subgroups within the real estate space. And what we're trying to do and uncover are use cases and tools and automations and things within each one of those for the community. I mean, so we're all across the board. What we've learned recently, just from feedback from members, people we're communicating with, is they'd like to see a little bit more structure. So if you're a broker, you come into the community wanting broker-related automations and workflows and ideas. And so we've been doing that, and we've been getting a lot more structured in that sense. But as far as the specifics, I mean, underwriting's been a big one. And I think what a lot of people want at the moment are tools and workflows and automations that integrate seamlessly with their existing workflows, right? There's a lot of software, there's a lot of interfaces, there's a lot of onboarding happening out there at the moment. Nobody wants to learn another interface or learn another tool or spend 2 weeks getting onboarded onto another platform. Instead, they want tools and automation, virtual employees to integrate with their existing workflows. So one use case that I'm super bullish on and I'm all over at the moment are these Excel AI agents. There's a couple I know of at the moment. I got early access to one, but one's called Endex, Endex AI, and then there's also Shortcut AI. And if you're underwriting in the real estate space, I mean, especially if you're a big institution, you've had these underwriting models for a very long time that you've iterated, that you've built through blood, sweat, and tears. Failures on deals have allowed you to just update these models and ensure they're better for the next one. And so you're not going to abandon those models, right, and just hop on another interface that promises you can underwrite deals faster with AI. You want tools that allow you to multiply your existing capabilities with the existing infrastructure you have. So these AI agents that live within Excel, I'm really excited about. And being able to take your existing underwriting model and template and have an AI super agent basically do a lot of the underwriting for you. Nobody's leaving Excel. I don't think Excel is disappearing anytime soon. So the fact that you can now have essentially like an analyst, right, a financial analyst in your Excel model and telling it what to do and having it do it, this is PhD level, like Excel analysis, right? So you could take an offering memorandum, a new deal, take that PDF file, put it into your Excel model, and essentially just say, underwrite this deal for me using my existing model, and it'll do it. And so that's been a really incredible use case. I think our members and folks I've communicated with about this have been really receptive to it, and bullish on it. So that's been really exciting. I mean, you could build pro formas as well, which that's been a barrier to entry for a lot of people, especially as you're looking at different asset classes and trying to pivot. Figuring out how to underwrite these types of deals, going online, looking for templates. These templates cost money. They're not up to your standards. You're constantly iterating them. So having the ability to really dictate this AI agent within Excel it's a game changer for a lot of people. So that's been a big one for us.
100%. And you touched on something there that intrigues me. So, coming from the affordable housing world, is that this also helps democratize development. So, there's a barrier to entry for some minority owned or women owned developers trying to get over that first threshold, if you will, and, being afraid of getting the pro forma right and getting the underwriting right and having the right counsel and having the right tools. And so I was blown away the very first time I saw you posted a prompt. And I don't know which friend of mine connected me to you on LinkedIn, but I saw that and my mouth just dropped. So it's really impressive what you're doing. And I think it's super exciting. So happy to share this with all of our clients and our colleagues, because I think that this is just super important work. Is there any fear of proprietary models being shared on AI? Have you encountered fear around that?
Well, I personally operate with an abundance mentality. I like to give, and in return, it comes back around. So for me, I could care less. And I think as we head towards super intelligence, people like to safeguard their secrets and proprietary stuff, and totally understandable. But you could find a lot of what's out there pretty easily nowadays. With AI, I think things are just changing so rapidly, and there's this allows for ammunition you didn't previously have. The barriers to entry are much lower with all this stuff. But again, for me in the community, it's all about an abundance mentality. Those are the folks we want as part of the community. Share, you get out what you put in. And so that's created an environment which I think has been amazing for people. We just had someone recently post about an AI agent that they built. They're a broker on the prospecting side. They shared the template. Anyone can just go in and pull it, right? And there's other brokers in the community platform as well. But the abundance mentality has just been great. So I'm all about that. Folks in our circle are all about that. There's others who aren't, and that's totally okay.
A power of sharing was my next bullet point, Jake, because of what you're saying. And, part of using AI just in general is an understanding that what you're typing in, even in ChatGPT, could be used in some way. And obviously there's security settings and things like that. But everything is so new and changing so much that I think any user has to have some amount of understanding that there could be sharing or resharing of information. So the fact that you have this member bank of people who are relatively open to sharing, I think, two things. One, feeds the engine better because people are showing up with real data and are willing to input so that you're getting better results. But two, there's sort of this like trust element that's coming. And on our last episode, we were talking about giver's gain and the mentality of just being willing to show up in a community and give so that everyone can learn. And when you're doing the right things, it's okay to share and it's okay to let others rise to the top too. And everyone wins when that happens. And so that's certainly, whether it's just real estate in general or in the technology sense or in a membership sense, we certainly like that notion of contribution always wins, and being part of a community will always, the rising tides raising all boats thing is such an important belief system. And so the fact that you have this platform where others are allowed to collaborate, I think, is not only special because it's allowing your membership to grow, but it's giving them these opportunities to just interact with each other, which I think can be so helpful. Would you maybe give us an example of something that you've seen in the last month where maybe some members are collaborating in addition, to just kind of give our listeners an idea, if they're interested in this, what is available to them? How can people work together or contribute in the community?
Yeah, well, I mean, it starts with just a question for help, right? Like, hey, here's one of my pain points. Is anyone using AI or technology which could help solve for this? And then you'll have other members chime in, myself included. So that's just one example. We have AI roundtables as well, which we're doing once a week at this point, and that's a place for people to come on and just talk about it, right? What were their wins for the last week? What were the losers? And we're trying to. There's a lot of tools in the space. We're trying to comb through the stuff that's just not really useful at the moment, and we want to surface the winners. But it's a very collaborative environment. I mean, we're posting threads, right? Like, hey, what do you want to automate this week? People chime in. I want to do this, that, and one another. There's other people in the community that are a little bit more technical and have that expertise, and can provide them with their thoughts beyond just their thoughts, even possible solutions. So it's a good mix of people all across the board. People who are just starting to use ChatGPT, and then those with computer science or software engineering backgrounds that just know how to speak the language of code and actually build this stuff. And so there's a lot of collaboration. There's a lot of questions asked, a lot of answers to those questions. And again, it's all about the abundance mentality. So it's been wonderful.
So you mentioned some things that are on horizon. Obviously, you can't predict everything that's going to be all the technology that's coming out. But from your perspective, what's coming next? It sounds like classes and workshops are on the horizon. Is there anything else you want to share? What you can see into the future and talk about?
Yeah, I mean, we have a pretty structured learning academy, um, and it's role specific, right? So if you're a broker, you get in there and you see all the workflows and tools and resources that are specific to brokerage. We have for investors and acquisitions teams. We have property and asset managers, lenders, developers. We just created a prompt library as well, and there's different subgroups starting with prospecting and lead gen. There's underwriting and financial modeling. There's due diligence. There's risk assessments, and within each one of those buckets, there's 10 to 15 different prompts that someone can just copy and paste and use on their own. So that's happening. We're focused on building a course at the moment for actually implementing a lot of this stuff into commercial real estate. Right now, it's a lot of knowing, which that's great, just because it all starts with knowing. But the next step in all this is properly implementing AI into these workflows, right? And there's a lot that needs to happen from to sort of bridge the knowing to implementation gap, but it starts with the data, all the data infrastructure. And so I think 2026 will be a big year for implementing. I think this year there's a lot of knowing, which again is okay. So I think that course would be really useful to a lot of folks in the space who are just sort of green to this, and we're really going to hold their hand and walk them through, starting with the simple concepts of like what is AI, the different everything involved with it. How do you prompt AI effectively, right? There's all these different large language models. There's ChatGPT, there's Claude, there's Perplexity, there's Grok, there's Gemini, right? And like which one of those serves what purpose? And so starting with foundations of AI and then moving on to the specific use cases within each role, right? So brokers and agents and developers and all that good stuff. So there's a lot to come. There's a lot of new things that we're releasing each week. We've gotten really, really great feedback from members, which is exciting. And I think the sky's the limit with all this.
I wanted to ask you about, because you are working in this kind of like multimodal format to reach your membership, is just how you're working to actually do the work, but that you're also taking the time to do your own thought leadership, to educate and inspire, which also obviously translates into membership. But even having a lot of technical knowledge and coming from the developer and tech side, you've done a really nice job of positioning yourself as an expert in your field and as a connector. And you've done that through, your podcasting and your LinkedIn posts. um, I, I think one of the things that we are often trying to teach our clients is it doesn't matter what industry you're in, or if you love talking in front of people, or are more introverted, or don't think that you're a video producer, that you sharing your knowledge with your community is the most important thing, and that people want you to show up as yourself. regardless. I think it's amazing that y'all are hitting people that have never used AI all the way into software developers, because you're speaking the language in a way that is very approachable for people. And that can be hard when you're doing any type of marketing content, because you do have different levels of people. But maybe just give us a little recap of what expertise and, thought leadership means for you, on how you have shown up to even develop this entire collective. Because I think, my take is that that's been a really important catalyst of, humans are still the ones who are helping to bring technology together, which is a really powerful thing.
Yeah. I'm not sure there's a right or wrong way of thinking about that, or answering it, right? For me, like, I never thought I'd be posting content and being a so-called influencer in the space. That was never my intention. Like I said, this all kind of happened by accident. So in the last 2 months, I've learned so much, and I've had to be uncomfortable doing these types of podcasts. Like this is not really my background. So this is all kind of new territory for me. But as we head into this AI world and kind of next phase in all of this, you got to be out there, right? A lot of people are on their phones, on their computers, on social media. They get a lot of their information, they buy all their products from, just being online. I mean, ChatGPT, for example, they're integrating all these different apps. So previously, as a real estate agent or investor, you may go on to Zillow to look for rent comps or homes for sale and stuff. But now ChatGPT is kind of integrating that within their platform. Within ChatGPT, you can now access Zillow, and I think they've only released a couple like Canva and Booking.com, but soon you'll be able to do everything within ChatGPT. But I guess I'm learning a lot at the moment. I've had to be uncomfortable. I've been asked to be a guest speaker for master classes on these types of topics. I've asked to lead a panel to speak on AI in the commercial real estate space for a conference of 200 plus people. And so I think being uncomfortable is a good thing. It's allowed me to develop new skills and a personality I didn't previously have. So I'm excited about all that. But again, this wasn't really the course I chose by any means. It kind of just happened for me. But what gets me really excited is giving the value to the members, and not even just members in the community, but folks out there who are trying to stay ahead of this stuff and learn, just because it's so overwhelming. And if I can kind of close that gap, even just a little bit at the moment, like, it gives me a lot of pleasure. So being able to have a voice, being able to have a platform where folks could trust me, has been great, and super fulfilling work for me. So it's just been a lot of
Right.
fun.
That's a great answer. And I think just kind of goes back to the whole idea that if you show up in that, if you're authentic and you're there for the right reasons, that people can read that and respond well to that. And it's obviously working for you on your over 400 global members, because you're showing up, you're putting in the time, you're asking questions, and you're really seeking to be a service provider to help people. And that's something that does come across as true and valuable. So we congratulate you on just how you've pulled all this together. We are certainly looking forward to being in the crowd of people learning along the way. It is so new every day that the only way to keep up is to keep asking questions and keep learning, and to try to be surrounded by people who are doing the same thing. So that's magnificent. And we can't thank you enough for just responding to our offer to be here today. We love speaking with people in all facets of community and economic development. And certainly this technology side is going to really be life changing. So it's important that people pay attention, join the community, and just try to keep up by learning a little something every day. It's kind of the best advice, right? Like, don't try to swallow it all at once. I would love for you, Jake, to tell people how to find you if they want to go online and learn.
Yeah. I'm all over LinkedIn. Post every single day on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. We just started all this stuff, and we're starting a YouTube channel as well. So we're all over the place, but our website's AI4CREcollective.com, FOR too, not the number 4, AI4CREcollective.com. And there you could access our newsletter, the community. We have blogs, lots of stuff posted on there. So I'm pretty easy to find. I just had someone start helping me with SEO as well. So hopefully my internet presence will continue to expand.
Excellent. Well, we expect to see you in lots of places that we will find ourselves. So I'm looking forward to meeting you in person soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Jake. Have a great rest of your day. And thanks for tuning in from another time zone and being on our show today.
Had a blast. Thanks, guys.
All
Thank
right,
you.
take care.
Thanks for listening to The Comms Exchange, a podcast by 3090 Marketing. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please be sure to follow or subscribe so you don't miss out on an exciting new episode. We'll be back soon with more stories and strategies from the field, because every breakthrough begins with a conversation.